Who do Americans blame more? They blame Republicans. The New York Times, by 7 points, they blame Republicans in Congress and Donald Trump. Marist, look at that. Blame Trump and Republicans by 12 points. How about Washington Post? By a 17-point margin. When you look at the data, what you're actually seeing is that more Americans are blaming Republicans than Democrats, which I think really goes against the conventional wisdom, because a lot of folks are saying, hey, Democrats are so divided. But at this particular point, Americans are placing the blame on the Republican shoulders, at least the plurality of them are.
All right, so looking at this, does this match up to what we see historically? Like, how is this different or the same?
Yeah, this is what I think is so notable here, is we can go back over time, and this is actually a pretty familiar story. What are we talking about here? Blame more at the start of shutdowns. 95, 96, they blame the Republicans more by 16 points. 2013, blame the Republicans more by 10 points. 2018, 2019, blame the Republicans more by 14 points. And right now, on the average poll, you see that the American public are blaming Republicans more by 12 points than Democrats. So this actually lines up with what we've seen historically. When the government goes in the shutdown, at least in prior occasions, and in this one, what we see is that more Americans are likely to blame Republicans than Democrats, which again, it's why the polling right now doesn't exactly strike me as surprising, despite the fact that Democrats might be messy. Republicans are the ones who are getting more blame, because that is what has happened, at least historically speaking.
And also because Democrats are like, look, they have all three branches of government.
Correct.
You know, so
that's exactly. I think that's so notable, right? It's the Republicans are the ones who have the House, the Senate, and of course the presidency.
Yeah. All right. So what about, at the beginning versus the end of these shutdowns? Because things get really awful for so many people. People notice the services are cut, but you also have the big furloughs. What do you see there?
Yeah, I think this is notable, right? I think there might be a lot of Republicans who would say, okay, these are early days yet, right? This is early days yet. But what happens at the end of the shutdown? Does, in fact, the blame change? Well, historically speaking, no. Who gets the blame at the start of the shutdown has ended up being the ones who get the blame at the end of the shutdown. 95, 96, GOP. 2013, GOP. 2018, GOP. Look, it's early days yet. Maybe history will be bucked in this particular situation. But historically speaking, if you're being blamed at the start of a shutdown, you're getting blamed at the end of it. And right now, it's Republicans who are being blamed at the start of this one. History ain't exactly too kind to those who are blamed at the start of shutdowns.